Australians are diving into their super once again. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got a piping hot morning coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing Australians diving into their super once again for the second time. Now, before we go through this, from Jared Coburn, let's have a look here at this dashboard from APRA discussing the superannuation early release scheme, and just look at some of the numbers, because I know there are people that are just, we're seeing in the media articles and videos and reports trying to paint a picture that people are irresponsible. It's sensational. Most people spent their super withdrawals on essentials, on boring stuff. Okay, so if there's some idiot that loses it all gambling, you're going to click on it, or if someone spends it on some plastic surgery, they're going to sensationalize it. They're going to do it to try and get, viewer engagement, because it'll get people angry. Because there's a lot of Karens in Australia that want to tell people what they can do. And don't get me wrong, I understand there are certain advantages to superannuation. They're tax advantages, they're investment advantages, it forces people to save. My issue with it is that it's forced. It isn't voluntary. I would have no problems with this scheme if it was voluntary. If people could choose to pay into super or not. If people could go into it at certain parts of their lives and maybe take it out without all the penalties. Maybe there'd be a little bit more competition from different funds. Here's the problem: when you've got businesses or organizations which have a government-enforced moat, they tend to get a little lazy. They're a little precious. They don't really care about you as much as their advertisements say. That's my argument, everyone. That's my argument. And you'll see it. You'll see people in the comments going, people will... And this is by design. These articles are designed to get people agitated. People will piss their super away. Look how dumb they are. They need to be, parented. And that's the worrying thing. You're getting a lot of people that want to take away your rights and parent you. The government takes care of you. In some ways, I find that a little disgusting, to be honest, that attitude. People should learn from mistakes. And all of us have. All of us have made mistakes, and you should learn from it. Maybe this is why we now have, such a lack of financial literacy or even planning. Don't even worry about your retirement. Your super will take care of that. Some people even say, it's not part of your wages, it's the employer's contribution. It's not your money, not the worker's money. Just shows a lack of understanding, a lack of actually having ever employed someone, realizing it's all a burden. It's the burden of taking on an employee. It's part of the reason why it incentivizes you to avoid hiring staff. Well, all costs incentivize you to avoid that, but incentivizes you to avoid hiring people here in Australia and offshoring it. Sure, other countries have a similar scheme, but it's a lot cheaper. So we'll have to see. And there's a lot of people who are concerned or don't trust it, who see it as a big piggy bank that the government will just not be able to resist dipping their hands into the future. So people are taking their money out. Some people are wasting it. Some are spending it on sensible things. I think it sends a clear message that there's a lack of confidence there. So let's look at this. 19.1 billion payments have been made. So it's an average 3.3 business days to a payment. So, these are pretty good numbers. Frankly, you're getting it that efficient. That's impressive. We rag on the super companies, but if they're doing that, that's good. Good time frame. 7,500 average payment. Now, is that because people only can get that much out? Or is that because, that's all they have in there? I've spoken to other business people, and some have taken it out, small business people. They're going, I don't trust super. I'd rather have control of my money entirely to access it whenever I need to. There were 2.7 initial applicants. And the average applicant was 7,476. Why am I circling in blue on blue? Bloody hell, Florian. See, it's early. This is what happens. Repeat applicants, 0.3 million. And 8,904, the average application amount. So look at the value that's received and that's paid. So some people didn't get it, or maybe they're still working through the payments. So 83% are paid, 15% are processed, and the remainder is closed. And the processing time, 95% within 5 business days. Poor people here have to wait for 10 business days or more. There you go. The number of applicants. Well, period 2 repeat, period 2 initial, period 1. There you go. Look at that. In 10 weeks, how many people sought to get access to their super? And the distribution of processing times. So you can see here, I mean, the super companies are doing what they can to get the money out there to people who need it. And it's people's money. It is their saving. It is a portion of money that businesses are spending on these employees that could otherwise have been put towards the wages of the employee. Just think of that. Just think of that. I guess it's different because I'm an architect. Even when I was a student, I would receive a contract. And, you'd negotiate the price, so they'd give you an offer, and the offer would include, be your entire package and include your super and all the other things you received. Some people don't even see it as their money. That's the most frustrating thing. What's worrying is I had friends who didn't get any of their super, like for a year or two. It just wasn't paid in. They weren't keeping track of it. So Australians rush to access their super a second time. Super funds are being hit by a second wave of early super requests as more Australians claim financial hardship. Almost 350,000 Australians have double-dipped into their retirement savings, claiming ongoing financial hardship due to the pandemic. Figures released by the Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority showed 345,000 people have made repeat applications to access their super early for an average payment of $8,904. The early release of super was implemented by the federal government as a financial measure to support Australians during the pandemic. Well, during the fact that they've closed down the entire economy repeatedly. That's the thing. There's some businesses who are going to be completely destroyed by this through no fault of their own. Some people who've... Yesterday I'm sending out fee proposals for a job we're working on. And I'm bringing up and talking to consultants. I'm getting a feel. I'm asking them, how's business going? Some of them I haven't spoken to in a while. And then, they were keen. Everyone was keen to get a fee proposal. Or put a fee in, even for a little job. This job was for a project out on the way to Ipswich, out near Redbank here in Brisbane, a growing suburb, a growing city essentially, near where we're working on a big school project. It was a little retail conversion, and it was an abandoned shop. And this shop was for children's parties. And they even had a room all decked out like Frozen, so little girls to come and put on makeup and to do fashion shows. I remember, the gentleman who took us there showed us, gave us one of the pamphlets, and the cost of having these little parties is $700 to $2,000 out in a lower socioeconomic suburb, out on the fringes of the city. So naturally, that business didn't do well, but it's sad seeing just the remains of one business. But that's part of it. And I doubt that this might have been the final, well, it wasn't, that was gone 6 months before, but this could be the final nail in the coffin for a business like that was struggling. So I can see why some people genuinely need to access this. Why others have lost revenue. Projects have been cancelled, they've lost hours. And they're just having it as a cash reserve. Paying down that debt, getting rid of that credit card, renegotiating their mortgage. As of July 5th, $19.1 billion had been paid to approximately 2.7 million account holders, with APRA estimating new requests will sap the superannuation sector of roughly $23.3 billion. And you've got to remember, you're forced to pay that in there, most of it. Major industry funds have experienced the largest number of withdrawal requests, with almost half the applicants lodged to the ATO going to 6 wealth providers. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. So the union-controlled funds. Where's the confidence people have? The thing is, some people don't even treat it as their money. You know, young people don't realize it. How many people have trust in it? Australian super has been drained of $2.56 billion since the implementation of the scheme and has already had 49,000 of its members request a second payment. In total, Australian super has received 415,000 applications, with 314 of those claims already paid. Sun Super has been hit by 320,000 requests in total, which has cost the fund approximately $1.89 billion. And there you have it. There's the real reason why the super funds don't want this to happen. Because you're costing them money. You're costing them fees. They're having to liquefy assets to get that cash. That's why. That's why they want it. They want to control it. People make money off this. They make a living off this. Yeah. I remember talking to a gentleman when I first started working, a senior architect, and I thought it was interesting because he was one of the few people. This is when I was a student working for a big firm in the city. He was one of the few people still on the drafting board. They kept him around because he was real quick at just doing up plans. Boom, 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 boom. You know, in, out, in, out. He was a bit of an odd fella. And I remember he was complaining about how his super fund said, "Oh, look how much higher your super's gone." And he said, "Yes, because those are all my contributions. You haven't made me much money with it." He was quite annoyed. Quite annoyed. Retail Workers Fund Rest had incurred 33,000 repeat applications, adding to the set 1.75 billion already dished out to 243,000 fund holders. I mean, retailers are going to cop it. Retailers are going to cop it. That whole industry's been in recession since the beginning of the year. Hospitality Industry Fund, Host Plus, has funneled out 1.7 billion to 246,000 members, while Cbus has paid out 1.1 to more than 130. Hester, the Health Workers Fund, received 166, so they paid out 940. And Westpac's wealth arm BT Super has been the hardest hit retail fund, with more than 110,000 account holders requesting a total of 872 million. So there you go, everyone. Second round of Australians are hitting their super to get access to their money. Yeah. How many people are using it to pay off debt? How many people are using it to cobble together a deposit? 20 grand from this, 40 grand if you're in a couple. Then you get the home builders grant. Then you get the local state grants, and you rush out there. And for some people, it's maybe the first time they've managed to get together that much money to do this type of thing. Have you dipped into your super, guys? Are you waiting on it? Yeah. Are you angry that people are taking out their money? That people dare to spend it? Are you one of those Karens that want to tell people how to live their lives? It's just the way Australia is, isn't it? Just the way it is. Jealousy, I think. Jealousy. Jealousy for people fighting over their scraps, over their $10,000 scraps. How dare they get that $10,000 out? How dare they learn a hard lesson and piss it away on something? They'll have to live off the pension. Grumble, grumble. Let's go and photograph their bloody garage and post it all over Twitter. Let's shame them. Yeah. It's frustrating. It really is. Wasn't there a time when people didn't give a crap about other people's business? Wasn't there a time like that? Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I'm getting too old. Maybe the coffee I made this morning is just a little too weak. It's not giving me that perk up I normally get. Although I am recording rather early today. Heading out today, guys, for a project. So there we have it, everyone. Australians rushing to get their super. What do you think? Does this show a lack of confidence in the super industry, or is it more a sign that people are, desperate, need, or would rather have the cash in their own hands? Or is everyone running out to stock up on toilet paper and boob jobs? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays. You can see the pocket squares behind me that Rachel's made. You can also use gold parts from the Perth Mint or PayPal. Thanks to everyone who's helped support the channel. We're growing, steadily approaching 15,000 people. I'll have to do something for that. We'll see. I'll add it to the list. It's a bit crazy around here. Take care. I'll see you next time.